Ethan Nwaneri is so good in his debut season. The important thing, however, is where the ceiling actually is for Nwaneri. Can he really be compared to Arsenal's best products of the last 20 years? And what about the parallels between him and Lamine Yamal? Well, to get to those curious topics, let's talk about the numbers that make him so spectacular at such a young age. At the age of 17 and a few days away from his 18th birthday, Ethan Nwaneri has already made a name for himself this season. There's not a single player in the Premier League right now who has the confidence and maturity that Nwaneri has. But that's not all. Add in his incredible numbers and you have a gem in front of you. With 8 goals in his first campaign at this level, Nwaneri has the chance to break one of the most extraordinary records in English football history. You may already know whether or not it's been broken by the time we upload this, but here it is. If Nwaneri manages to score at least 2 goals against PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League return leg, or Chelsea in the Premier League, he will become the Englishman with the most goals scored before the age of 18. The record is currently held by 2 English greats, Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen, who both scored 9 goals before the age of 18. And while we're on the subject of records, Ethan Nwaneri's start against PSV in the round of 16 made the Arsenal starlet only the 3rd Englishman to start a campaign league knockout game before the age of 18, after Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham. But here is the twist. None of the aforementioned actually scored a Champions League knockout goal. Unlike Nwaneri, who was assisted by his Hale End Academy partner, Miles Lewis-Skelly, also coming from the Arsenal Academy. So here, the Arsenal prodigy is alone at the top. And before we get to the question of how Nwaneri will slot in when Saka and Martinelli fully return fit, let's go back to where it all started. Ethan Nwaneri's footballing journey began in London, where he joined Arsenal's Hale End Academy at the age of just 9. Showing exceptional talent from an early age, he consistently played above his age group, demonstrating his advanced skills and footballing intelligence. His rapid development led to a historic moment. On the 18th of September 2022, aged just 15 years and 181 days, Nwaneri made his senior debut as a late substitute against Brentford, becoming the youngest player to appear in an English top-flight match. And to put it in perspective, when we talk about Lamine Yamal and the whole hype around him, Nwaneri actually beats him, as Yamal made his debut at the end of that same season, in May 2023, at the age of 15 years and 285 days, or about 3 months older than Nwaneri. Moving on, after his debut, Nwaneri continued to impress at both youth and senior level for Arsenal. In the following 2023-24 season, when the Gunners were once again challenging for the Premier League title, Nwaneri made one first-team appearance, playing 13 minutes in a 6-0 thrashing at West Ham in the Prem. At the time, this was Nwaneri's limit in terms of senior appearances. On paper, Arsenal was stacked all over the pitch. It was simply impossible for Nwaneri to break into Arteta's side. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, he got his chance. Realistically, his rise to prominence this season has been as unexpected as it has been impressive, catalysed by injuries to key Arsenal players. Between September and December, the Gunners suffered major setbacks as playmaker Martin Odegaard was sidelined for 2 months with injury, while winger Bukayo Saka was also sidelined for an extended period. These absences left a void in Arsenal's attacking options, prompting Mikel Arteta to look within the club for solutions. The most obvious choice was a boy who already knew what it felt like to play in front of a packed Emirates Stadium. It came on his home debut, this time as a starter, in a 5-1 EFL Cup win over Bolton. He rewarded the manager's faith in him with a brace and signalled that the chances he was given were well below his level. Thus, on the 23rd of November 2024, having been given numerous opportunities to showcase his talent in both the Premier League and Champions League, Nwaneri scored his first senior Premier League goal for the Gunners in a 3-0 win over Nottingham Forest. The goal made Ethan the 2nd youngest scorer in Arsenal's history. He then had to wait over a month for his next goal in red, against Brighton, when he scored the opener in a 1-1 draw. It was the start of a fine run of performances for Nwaneri in an injury-plagued Arsenal side that saw all 4 of its best first-team forwards on the sidelines. That left Arsenal with an out-of-form Leandro Trossard, a washed-out and completely finished Raheem Sterling, and a 17-year-old wonder kid determined to save his boyhood club. And he did, in one way or another. In terms of his style of play and the comparisons already being drawn to him, Ethan Nwaneri is literally literally the kind of player we say is a full package type of baller. He has a high ceiling in every aspect of the game. Frankly, his blend of technical ability, tactical intelligence and versatility makes him a talent with a ceiling that only few others in the modern game have. Primarily a right winger or attacking midfielder, Nwaneri's adaptability allows him to excel in a variety of attacking roles, both in the centre and out wide. That's why he's been so useful in the absence of both Odegaard and Saka. Firstly, when the Norwegian was sidelined between September and November, Nwaneri was given fewer opportunities, but still managed to operate as a number 10. As you can recall, his Premier League debut goal against Nottingham came in this area. Then, with Odegaard returning and Saka injured, the 17-year-old was now deployed as a typical wide player, hugging the touchline and breaking the opponent's defence with his dribbling and sharpness. So to sum up what Nwaneri realistically offers as a player, an elite dribbling ability, not hesitating to take on 1, 2 or even 3 defenders, a brilliant long-range shot, especially towards that far post, and exceptional playmaking, crossing the ball in the box or finding those little gaps in dangerous areas that really turn an attack from solid into a huge goal-scoring threat. And saying that, it really felt like we were describing Lamine Yamal and not Nwaneri, didn't it? I don't know, but Nwaneri really doesn't resemble Yamal in his style of play. And with that in mind, let me show you something interesting. This was Yamal away to Girona at the Montilivi Stadium at the start of the season. And this was Nwaneri against Girona away, in the same stadium, in the same goal in January. Yeah, the strikes are completely different in style, but it's really curious that two of the best young talents in the world, who are destined to rule football for the next 20 years, scored identical goals on the same stadium. And if you want even closer looking goals, here you have Yamal last season against Mallorca, and now Nwaneri this February against Man City. Some Arsenal fans went even further, stating that Nwaneri actually has a higher ceiling than Yamal, which is a bit of an exaggeration when you consider what Yamal did for Barcelona last season. And, of course, the Spanish national team, literally carrying his country to the Euros triumph. But still, we can't overlook the fact that Nwaneri already has a better goal tally than Yamal. If we compare their goal-scoring charts in their debut seasons for Arsenal and Barcelona, respectively, Nwaneri has 8 goals in all competitions at the time of writing, while Yamal scored 7 for Barcelona last season. And before we bring today's episode to a close, let me ask you 2 intriguing questions. Firstly, do you think Nwaneri has the potential to overtake Jack Wilshere and Cesc Fabregas as the best talent that HLN has produced in the 21st century? And secondly, where do you see Arsenal and Nwaneri ending up at the end of the 2024-25 season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed that one, please consider subscribing to the channel or check our latest upload in which we talked a player, unlike Nwaneri, who was dismissed by the Arsenal Academy and later on became one of the most frightening strikers in the world, punishing the Gunners on dozens of occasions. I'm waiting for you there.